Today I'm going to be watching something called Honest Government Ads. I believe these are like satirical government adverts, as the name suggests. But today we're looking at 5 different videos, and these are all related to Australia. This first one is called Visit Australia Season 1. Let's watch these.
Australia, the most pristine place on the planet and home to a shitload of natural wonders. The Great Barrier Reef, Uluru, Kakadu and Scott Ludlam's hair, as well as a unique array of poisonous insects. You might have heard some off-putting rumours about climate change making Australia a little less tourist-friendly. But don't worry, we're fixers. That's why we demanded the UN remove all mentions of Australia in its latest report on climate change in World Heritage listed areas. We fixed it. So tourists, by the time you get here and realise that 93% of the Great Barrier Reef has been bleached into a desolate coral graveyard, you'll have already given us your money, dickheads. It's part of our Sanitise Australia development strategy to get rid of inconvenient blemishes in our national image instead of addressing the underlying issues. We also removed the words invasion and genocide from our history books. We now have a spotless environment and history for you to come and enjoy. Unless you're an asylum seeker, in which case we have a special package deal for you and your family on Nauru. Visit Australia. Authorised by the Australian Department of Environmental Irony and Mining Apocalypse.
Environmental irony. Well, that was quite interesting. People have asked me to watch these before. I can see why. Very cleverly written, very well delivered by that voice. She was like swearing during that as if it was just so casual. Tell me if those are real things, like taking out the details about climate change for Australia, about the Great Barrier Reef. Is it really that destroyed as well? That's a shame. Let's keep watching these and you can tell me what you think about them. We've got Season 2 for Visit Australia for the next one.
Visit Australia, home to shitloads of vanishing wonders. The Great Barrier Reef, press freedom, penalty rates. It's also home to a unique array of poisonous parasites. How good is Australia? Ancient land of mysteries. Like, how the fuck are we going to tackle the climate emergency with these pricks at the helm? And why are we the shit version of New Zealand? And above all, why did Aussies re-elect a government that's fucking them over? We're not sure either. But here at the Australian government, we believe in miracles. Like fake how to vote cards, fake placards, and fake fear campaigns. How good is bullshit? So come on, visit Australia. Thanks to us, each state offers a unique flavour of shit fuckery. WA, where mining companies make billions and pay fuck all taxes. But hey, look at everything they've given back. Quaint ghost towns, unemployment, and a meth epidemic. How good was the mining boom? Just like what's about to happen in Queensland. How good is Adani? Sure, it will kill what's left of the reef and the stacks of jobs it supports, but by the time Queenslanders realise we've sold off their future water and World Heritage sites, we'll be long gone, dickheads. South Australia, full of annoying shit that threatens our fossil fuel-sponsored police state, like their 100% renewable energy target, and bloody Rex Patrick. New South Wales, where nightlife, festivals and koalas go to die. How good's the 6th mass extinction? Victoria, home to regrettable scourges like deforestation, transurban and Eddie Maguire. The NT, last remaining wilderness, which we're about to start fracking the shit out of. Also doubles as a prison for Indigenous kids, a test ground for fascist income control policies, and a home for US spy bases to carry out illegal mass surveillance and drone strikes. How good is colonialism, neoliberalism, war? Tasmania, where everyone will escape to when shit hits the fan and then get killed in a bushfire. And lastly, the ACT. Take a tour of Bullshit HQ and don't miss the aptly named Museum of Democracy. So what you waiting for? We've saved you a spot on the beach, we've whitened the reef, Scott's fired up the coal furnaces, Joshy's given our mates a fat tax break, and Dutto's finally collected all 6 Infinity Stones. So where the bloody hell are you? Don't say New Zealand with those woke Kiwi Visit Australia. How good is shit fuckery? Authorised by Tourism New Zealand.
Very good. I like those little nods to New Zealand at the end there, but I mean, that was a 2-minute 24 video just packed full of, like, if you say negativity, but obviously just looking at things in a kind of realistic fashion with regards to Australia. I'm so used to watching so many things that are like overwhelmingly positive about Australia, so these things, it's interesting to see the other side of what people in Australia possibly think as well. I mean, a lot in that video. There was a lot of different like things that she was talking about, from like the mining to the way they treat immigrants and things like that, and the history. Tell me about all of these. Tell me more about each of these. Are these all accurate? Is there anything that's not? Let's check out the next one. This is Western Australia.
Western Australia, ancient land of mysteries. Like, why can't we merge? What happened to eats? And who the fuck asked for this? It's also home to heaps of Aussie icons. Cape Knob, Centred Knob, Sufficiency Knob, and of course these knobs. Hello, I'm from Woodside. I mean, the Western Australian government. And we'd like to begin with an acknowledgement of country, and by paying respect to the traditional owners of this land, which is why you'll see their shitty logo everywhere. On the city, footy team, festival, unis, theatre, orchestra, ballet, SciTech, even on children. Woodside nippers. Kids will need to swim a lot to survive the worsening floods we're causing, so Woodside's helping them to learn young. Plus, we're sadists, so using your child as a billboard for the company that's trying to kill them gives us wood. Woodside nippers. Did you know WA is the only state in Australia with rising emissions? That's because when the EPA told us to reduce our emissions, we told it to get fucked. And with help from our mate Kerry, it did. And that's why now this guy, who is our bitch, can give us the thumbs up to build Australia's most polluting project ever. Introducing the Burrup Hub. If approved, the Burrup Hub will open up 2 new mega gas fields, expand this lawn sausage, and extend this tumour's life by half a century, which combined will emit the equivalent of 12 times Australia's annual emissions. Would that undermine the world's efforts to meet the Paris target? Yes. Will it push us closer to what local philosopher Aussie Man calls destination fucked? Absolutely. But is it a good deal? Sure. For these guys who'll make billions in profits whilst paying bugger all royalties. We raise less from them than encourage-o from you. Oh, and most of these companies also pay bugger all taxes, are mostly foreign owned, and employ fewer people than any other sector, which means the economic benefit to WA comes to approximately fuck all. But hey, at least it'll keep the lights on. Well, renewables would do that too, minus the floods and fires. But here we are delaying them by investing in shit like this. Besides, most of Burrup's gas is for export. Will exporting gas help Asia to adopt renewables? That's what we tell you. Just don't read this CSIRO report we commissioned and then refuse to release because it says that's bullshit. Is the Burrup Hub at least safe? Of course not. It requires drilling under the Scott Reef, displacing whales with seismic testing, and risks routing everything from Ningaloo to Timor if there's a spill. It also risks wiping out the nearby Murujuga rock art. Remember that time our mates blew up this ancient sacred site? Whoops! Well, this time it's one of the oldest art galleries in the world, home to the first recorded image of the human face that risks being erased by acid rain. Are we gonna do it anyway? You betcha! We're just waiting for approvals from Canberra, so please don't contact your federal Labor MP to remind them that you elected them to end the climate shitfuckery, not to approve Australia's most polluting project ever. This has been a message from the Western Australian government. And remember, just because our former treasurer went straight onto the Woodside board, as did our former Federal Resources Minister, and just because the last 3 chairs of our regulator used to work for Woodside, and our Premier threatened to bypass the courts if they ruled against Woodside, and just because 4 of our last 5 premiers had gas lobby staff working in their offices, and gas companies donate shit tons to both major parties, Woodside being the biggest donor of all, doesn't mean the gas industry has captured this government. It just means it is the government. Visit Woodside. I mean WA. Whatever. We own this place. Fuck you.
How she says that with that smile. That is kind of mind blowing. I never knew. Of course, like in different governments and things, there's like large corporations who have so much power through lobbying and things like that. But I never knew this specific example in Western Australia with this company Woodside. But you can see it's like it was so interlinked with the government, all these politicians and government officials who are working there and things like that. Tell me if you're from Western Australia, are they really like a big problem there? I mean, like everything I say, as I mentioned, with regards to Australia that I've seen has been very positive, but the things that look negative are the politicians or politics and large corporations, and they seem to be a problem in every country. But tell me more about that specific example Next we've got New South Wales.
Visit New South Wales, home to Australia's most iconic destinations. Dick Lake, Hooker Park, Glory Hole Cave, Rooty Hill,
Is
and
that real?
of course, Kumboogle Kumbang. It's also home to the last remaining coalition government on the continent, which is why here at the New South Wales government, we are utterly shitting ourselves about the coming election. New South Wales, first stolen in 1788, this was once a small penal colony racked by shitfuckery. Today, thanks to us, it's a thriving modern state racked by shitfuckery. Need to create a cushy job for yourself once you quit politics? Rort bushfire funds for political gain? Arrest peaceful protesters? Or sick the anti-terror police onto a pesky journo? Come to New South Wales and visit Deniliquin, the perfect getaway when you're being summoned by a parliamentary inquiry into backroom deals with dodgy developers. Speaking of which, don't miss our native forests and wildlife, except you probably will, because by weakening land clearing laws to help dodgy developers, we've destroyed so much of them, we've made it into the top list of deforestation hotspots, alongside the Congo and the Amazon. Did that at least boost our economy? Nope. Our state forestry is losing millions, which means we're making people here pay to destroy their own native forests. We also made them pay for other cock-ups of ours, like ferries too tall for our bridges, trains too wide for our tunnels, trams too cracked to work, and ships too full of COVID to disembark. But we said YOLO. We also sold off their roads, ports, poles, wires, buses, TAFE, public housing, even their land titles office, and yet we still tripled our budget deficit, because we're good economic managers. But when it comes to selling out New South Wales, nothing beats our climate policy. Remember that time a lump of coal brought this piece of shit into Parliament? We thought that was so based, we pulled off the same stunt in our Parliament the next day. Not so New South Wales. That didn't age so well. So ever since then, we've been working hard to rebrand ourselves as climate leaders. But the truth is, we approved 16 new coal mines during our last term alone. And if re-elected, we're due to approve 8 more, including this one, run by a company that just got busted for endemic corruption across Africa. So they'll fit in fine here in New South Wales. But our biggest fuck you goes out to the regional communities we claim to champion. That's why Matt just gave Santos approval to enter their farms without permission. Visit the Liverpool Plains, the perfect spot for a pipeline no one here fucking wants, carrying coal seam gas mined from our last great inland forest right under the food bowl of the state by a company that's already been fined for contaminating aquifers with uranium. What could go wrong? When you put all this together, you might be thinking of not voting for us at the coming election. Thankfully, New South Wales is the only state in Australia where preferential voting is optional, which is great for us, because preferential voting is what got all those not shit candidates elected at the last federal election. So don't use it here, because if enough of you vote 1 for the not shit candidates running in this election, and then number every box, putting the shit candidates last, not only could New South Wales end up with a not shit government, you'd also kick the coalition off the continental map of Australia. And we wouldn't want that now, would we? Visit New South Wales before we sell out what's left of it. Authorised by the Department for 12 years of corruption, bullshit and dead koalas.
See, like, the thing about this, right, is like very funny. I love her delivery. Like, I love the way it's so deadpan and like, but it's, what she's speaking about is just incredibly serious issues that are going on in Australia. Like, it's an interesting contrast when you listen to her speak and try and take in everything that she's speaking about. But I didn't realise it. What would you call this? Is this corruption? Is there another word for it? Like, what is the problem? Like, it seems to be like a lot of political issues in Australia. Tell me what it's like if you're from Australia. Do you really like feel these problems in this? I don't want to say corruption, but like whatever these relationships are between these big companies and politicians. Again, like it's the same probably in other countries, but I never really knew much about it in Australia. Tell me what your thoughts on it are. Last we've got the Northern Territory.
Visit the Northern Territory, home to shitloads of Aussie icons. Bob's Knob, Ned's Knob, Hungry Knob, Big Knob Waterhole, and of course these knobs. The NT is also home to our greatest natural treasure. No, not that. gas, which is why we're stoked to finally open it up to fracking. Fracking is a complex mining process whereby gas companies inject donations into the arseholes of politicians to release access to land so they can tap into shale and coal seam gas deposits. Is it safe? Not according to America's top research, which shows fracking poisons the air, water, children, and generally every living thing in its vicinity.
This is America.
But hey, we've seen it working fine in Australia.
Just ask this scientician.
Who says fracking is totes safe if properly managed. So relax, because it's not like the NT is littered with decades of clusterfucks and environmental mismanagement. Well, apart from that one-time radioactive shit leached into Kakadu National Park, or when acid leached into the MacArthur River, copper leached into river systems, PFAS toxins leaked into drinking water. But other than those and many other fails, you can trust us to properly manage fracking in the NT and look on the bright side. It will create stacks of new jobs. Not for you, silly, for us, in our booming revolving door industry. Unfortunately, it will also create stacks of emissions, the equivalent of building 130 coal-powered plants, or like taking a massive dump on the Paris Climate Agreement. But we have no choice. We have to solve the gas crisis. You know, the one that doesn't actually exist, because we've got shit tons of gas. It's just that gas companies make more money exporting it overseas, which is exactly what they'll do with gas fracked in the NT, meaning the economic benefit for you will be approximately fuck all. Because you see, the real gas crisis is that these c***s run your government. That's why, instead of capping gas exports and company profits, we're bullying the NT into fracking the outback and fucking public health, farming and indigenous communities, the world-famous tourism industry, and the climate all in one go. Australian government, with a government like us who needs terrorists. Authorised by the Department for Environmental Terrorism. Approved by the Minister for Genuine Satire.
The actual issues that they're talking about seem extremely serious, but not only that, they seem extremely plentiful. There seems like so many different things, not just now, so many problems, but throughout history as well. Tell me if you're from Australia, just tell me more about these. Tell me if you think these really reflect the political and environmental situation in Australia as well. But yeah, I love these type of videos. Recommend some other videos from that channel as well for me. Thanks.